Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to another video. And this one I'm gonna break down 4 of my trades which I executed on the NQ and gold. So starting with the first trade which I executed on the gold on Tuesday 11th of November. As you can see on the right side I have the XAU GBP daily chart, and then on the left side I have the GC, which is the gold future charts. The XAU GBP is a stronger asset as it reaching into this fair value gap, taking all these highs, and upon reaching that highs it is kind of manipulating it and showing the signs of a reversal. As you can see, this candle created a large wick and it is now drawing back to the opening price. So when I was in the new session, I thought, okay, I'm gonna short it to the opening price because the candle has created its wick and now it's gonna go lower to the opening price of the candle. And also we are showing weakness on the gold, so we are going to be shorting the asset which is weaker because it is gonna go much faster and lower in comparison to the asset which is a stronger asset. So now dropping down to the 4-hour chart. On the 2M candle, the XAU GBP is taking the previous candle high and the gold is creating a bearish SMT divergence, which is the sign of that weakness in the gold. And also if we go to the XAU Euro chart, and we are again taking this high on the gold, and on the XAU GBP we are getting SMT divergence, which turned that weakness and the XAU Euro, and it went faster in comparison to the gold to the opening price of the candle. As you can see, it went lower, expanding due to that SMT divergence, triggering that weakness in this candle. And one thing more, if we are in that retracement phase, so we are going to retrace into this internal range liquidity pool or this fair value gap on the hourly chart. So I'm marking that out is my target. Now dropping down to the 1-hour chart. Here on the 1-hour chart, you can see we are creating a large wick consuming most of the daily range, creating a large wick of the candle, and a large wick candles have a lower body or a small body. So we are expecting a return back into the opening price because we expanded too much creating the wick, and we are gonna print a little or a small body going into the opening price. Are these equal lows? Are that for our fair value gap? So that's the idea. And one thing more, going into the ATM, as you can see, we have printed a bearish candle on the XAU Euro. The XAU Euro printed a bearish candle closing into the lows, so the next candle is going to expand much faster in comparison to the gold, which printed a bullish candle. So let me show you something. If the candle is going from this place going lower, and here we have the candle from there going lower, so it is gonna reach much faster in comparison to the gold. So I traded the 9am candle. I'm going to show you execution on the 5-minute chart. We have a candle 2 closure 8am, and I was trading the 9am expansion candle. So here on the 5-minute chart, you can see we have a candle 2 closure, a change in the state of delivery, confirming the reversal within the candle 2. And as the candle 3 started, it started expansion lower and didn't provide me an opportunity to get inside with the distribution. So prior to the 9:30, I thought I'm going to drop down to the 3-minute chart and find an opportunity there. So here we are on the 3-minute chart. We have the same idea, a candle 2 closure, a change in the state of delivery. If you are entering the next candle open with the confirmed change in the state of delivery, you have to put your stop loss at the highs because we don't have any protected swing, and you will be targeting this low, which is also around 2 hour. But I was waiting for a continuation order block, and here I missed that opportunity. We do have an SMT divergence on the highs. We reach into a fair value gap and we close below the up close candle, which confirms that order block. I entered the next candle, putting my stop loss slightly above this high, and I was targeting 2 hour to these lows. So we expanded lower. So now going into the second trade breakdown, I am in the gold daily chart again. As you can see, from the Monday we are expanding here. We have a continuous expansion of 3 days or 4 days, and going into the Thursday we are capping the weekly range. We are also inside that fair value cap and above the key levels. So we're expecting the next further price delivery. So going into the new session, as you can see, we have taken the previous candle high and we are aggressively reversing lower. And for the reversal candle, what are my targets? The opening price of the candle. So I was targeting the opening price of the candle, and I was trading that reversal candle on the 1-hour chart. You would not be catching a reversal until you get a confirmation about it, either a key level or a high up that it printed on the hourly chart and with experience. So now dropping down to the 4-hour chart. So here on the 4-hour chart, as you can see, we have a no wick candle, which is that 22 candle, and this is the opening price of the daily candle. We are expecting a return back into it, and the XAU GBP turn into a weaker asset. By creating this SMT divergence with the goal on the 6am candle, we are taking the 2am high, and on the XAU GBP, we are creating an SMT divergence which trigger it to be a weaker asset, and reach faster and smoother to the opening price of the candle and much lower to this low. So this was the idea, targeting the opening price or this no wick candle low. So now dropping down to the 1 hour chart. So dropping down to the 1 hour chart, you can see we have the same idea of the candle profiling. We are creating a large wick, expecting too much range creating the wick, and we are expecting a small body, a return back into the opening price, because this is the historical nature of the reversal candles. So now going into the 9am candle, we have already printed a reversal candle. This candle is a candle 2 on the XAUGBP, and I waited for the closure of the 8am candle to then trade that expansion candle lower, because in the XAUGBP we are much weaker and showing that signs of expansion lower. So I'm gonna show you now my entry on the 5-minute chart. So now dropping to the 5-minute chart, you can see we are printing a clean continuation order blocks. The first one is right here, tapping into that fair value gap. Now going into the 9am candle open, we have printed a continuation order block. We are inside a protected swing. If you are catching this continuation order block, that's okay, targeting the opening price, but I missed that entry. So I was waiting for a continuation order block again to get inside with the distribution. And for that, I dropped into the 3-minute chart. So on the 3-minute chart, this is the 9am to the 9:30 candle. So I was expecting either an order block on the 9:30 or prior to that, but we do have a fair value gap here, and we are kind of closing below these candles. We close below that candle, so I entered at the close, putting my stop loss above the bodies, and I was targeting 3R, which was slightly below the opening price. And going into the 9:30, we again created another continuation order block, and we expanded lower, completing our objective, and my stop loss was protected by a few ticks. So this was the second trade breakdown. Now I'm gonna go over the next trade. So for the third trade breakdown, I'm on the NQ daily chart. On the right side, I have the ES. Going into the Earth test price section, as you can see, the ES is a stronger asset, it is closing above this candle, which is much higher on the NQ, and also invalidating this fair value gap and reaching above these highs, while the NQ is creating a bearish SMT divergence at that fair value gap. And also we have a candle 2 closure, which is the classic T-Trace fractal model, and we were expecting a candle 3 expansion lower, and we have failure swings aligning down there and the opening price of the weekly candle, which can be the objective for the price. So now we have a candle 2 closure, a change in the state of delivery, and we are expecting a candle 3 expansion lower. So now dropping down to the 1 hour time frame. So now I'm going to show you the 4 hour time frame. On the 4 hour, we have a change in the state of delivery, confirmation for the weekly wick, and we are showing a weakness. We have a bunch of failure swing respecting this fair value gap going lower, and the weekly low is our target. So dropping down to the 1 hour chart. So now going into the newer session, as you can see, the daily candle has quite a small wick. A high up the day is printed, and we are continuously expanding lower. A change in the state of delivery right here are this one, and we're expecting expansion lower. We kind of have failure swings right there, which is okay. On the 30-minute chart, you can see there is a cleaner swing point, but if the 930 is going again back higher and printing a swing point there, so that is going to invalidate the idea of the expansion candle. So if the 930 is truly expanding lower, so we need immediate expansion lower, and that was confirmed by the lower time frame signature. So we are kind of trading the candles fifth of 30-minute swing point are the continuation candle. So I'm gonna show you it on the 5-minute chart. On the 5-minute chart, this is that daily failures. If we are manipulating this, so we want the 930 to immediately expand higher, close above these down close candles, print a bear swing point, and go higher to all these failure swings. But as you can see, going into the open, we kind of created a continuation signature. The 930 to 935 5-minute candle created a continuation signature respecting this fair value gap, a small one, and closing above the consecutive series of up close candles. So now we have a continuation signature. I entered the next candle, putting my stop loss above the body. I was targeting that low in 3R, but I will show you as the price reach into my objective. We have the 10 a.m. open coming in, so I'm expecting a next further price delivery. So it could be a retracement going again to these equal lows. So I exited my position right here at 3R. So for the next trade breakdown, I'm the YM daily chart. On the left side, I have the NQ daily chart. So as you can see, the NQ was the weakest asset and the YM was the lagging asset. The NQ crossed the weekly open on Thursday, and the YM still has to go to the weekly open or the current week's low. So as we were approaching the new session, this was the only reversal point for the indices to cap the weekly range higher. And if you look on the YM is still stronger asset, so it has to go to this low. So going into the 930, I was expecting this low to be hit on the YM, which is the current week's low, which was already hit by the ES and NQ on Thursday. So I was expecting a short bias on the YM. So this was the idea on the daily chart. Now we will drop into the 1 hour. So now here, prior to the opening price of 930 on the 8 AM, we have had that objective on the NQ, and on the YM we still have to go to that low, which is the current week's low. So I was expecting a 930 expansion higher on the NQ, which would allow the YM to expand to this low. So this was my idea on the 1 hour chart. Now dropping down to the 30-minute chart, you can see the 9 AM candle hasn't taken the previous candle high. But if you go to the ES has taken the previous candle high, and this is that bearish swing point with SMT divergence right here. So that indicates that the YM is a weaker asset, and the only reversal point we are expecting for YM to expand again higher is this low. So this was kind of trading against the bias. I know that the indices will turn back into the range, but I can short the YM to the point where it would reverse higher. So now here I'm on the 3-minute chart. You can see we have taken this candle high on the right side, you can see, and we haven't taken that, which is creating that SMT divergence on the lower time frame. And we do have initial change in the state of delivery, which is confirming that reversal within the candle 2. But if I'm waiting for the 930 to create another order block, it won't do it because of the time it is expanding lower straight. So I'm gonna get position myself prior to the 930. So I enter within this candle when it was developing. My stop loss was above this high, and I was targeting 3R, which was slightly below that objective. And right at the 930, the price expanded lower, completed my objective, and then later on the indices all reversed in same direction, which was capping the weekly range back to that high. So with this example, I'm gonna end my video. Hope you guys have learned something from this. If you want more trade breakdowns, let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video, and see you next week.